So LinkedIn just launched thought leadership ads. We were just talking about this, that I have a client that's really interested in implementing those and was very curious about if we've run any tests. So before we get into any of that information, I'd love to talk about, what are the thought leadership ads for anybody who hasn't heard of them yet? Who are they really good for? What are kind of the use cases here?
Yeah, I am excited about the thought leader ads. I've been calling them influencer ads. I don't know which one's I don't know if, I guess LinkedIn probably had the official thought leader ads, but I'm excited for them because obviously one of the big things that I've been preaching is a combination of organic and paid strategy. And this is probably just a perfect example of how a platform is actually enabling people to have a more human approach. So yeah, I'm really excited about this and can't wait to dig in and unpack it a little bit. And this will be a basics. We'll probably have to have a few more of these, exactly how-tos, advanced strategy. The implication of this, it's so new that we just don't know what all is possible with this yet.
Yeah. So we'll start with the basic. What are thought leadership ads?
What are they? So traditionally with most LinkedIn ads, they come from the company page. So the company page either makes a post that you then sponsor, or as just creating an ad, they're pushed out from the company page. So on people's feeds, it looks like the company page is making, a post or an ad and sending a message. For thought leader ads, you're able to sponsor a personal post from an employee of the company. So someone attached to the company profile can make a personal post from their personal profile, and then that can get sponsored. So the reason that's so kind of, new and exciting is that it just helps humanize the brand. It looks more organic. Even the exact same image and text from a personal profile will get more views than from the company page. So you're amplifying your message. It's dialing it down. It looks less salesy, and it'll make a lot of things easier, like third-party validation. Like you could have ads that say we have happy staff, or you can have actual happy staff make posts that get boosted that simply show people in a human way that, they like working for that company. Like it's going to open up a lot of possibilities like that.
Yeah. And this kind of brings me back to the conversation that we've had about organic content and company page content, or I guess organic content on a personal page and then company page content, and how just in general, company page content is not set up for success. People tend to approach it with a lot of guidelines because they want to stick within the way that their brand has already been represented, and they don't want to seem too controversial, especially on a branded page. So kind of being able to get into some of that, the more interesting topics and the more hot topics that people are talking about on a personal page, and then just have it sponsored by the company or have it pushed out as an ad in that way, definitely is a great way to kind of get the best of both worlds, where you can link it to an official company brand so that you're kind of funneling where you want people to direct to, but you're not necessarily feeling like you're representing your company when you're posting online.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice mix. It'll be interesting to see what people do with them. Just so we've implemented it ourselves. And the first thing I did was I put it into a 30-day retargeting. So I already had a pretty nice, robust 90-day retargeting. I didn't necessarily want to just swap these out. I'm sure I could swap these out for things that are in there, but I just added on as an extra 30-day layer. So the people that are most recently engaged with our brand, get back in front of them with personal posts of mine that I obviously cherry picked, that I know show us in a good light, have created inbound. And that worked actually really well. Within 2 weeks, actually within a week of those running, I think we just got access to it in less than 7 days ago. So probably hasn't even been running a week. It has actually generated booked calls for us. And then I just a day or so ago, put it into our cold layer to test there, because I was running screenshots of organic posts as my cold campaign. So swapping out the actual organic posts was a nice upgrade. I fully intend to see a nice boost in that one as well. But there'd be different strategies depending on, what layer you want these posts to go, whether it's going to be cold, 90-day retargeting, a 30-day retargeting. If you're retargeting, you're retargeting interactions. So you could make or pick posts that fit these different pockets, and you could have some fun with it.
Yeah, we were talking before I started recording this that we were a really good candidate for this type of ad. When I first saw it came out, I was immediately like, yes, I could see us using Justin's posts as paid ads, because we have already done that in the past. We've done screenshots of your posts and run them as ads. So other than, our specific use case, what are some other use cases that you think these would be really great to apply to?
So I do think the biggest thing is to show subject matter expertise and to humanize the brand. So what I would say is probably in the retargeting layer, you get you get their attention some way, whether it's Google ads, so they showed some intent, or a cold LinkedIn ad, they know who you are, what you do, or some other form. And then you get back in front of them with, among other things, these thought leader ads on LinkedIn. And it should be someone in your leadership, kind of the face of the brand or humanizing your brand a little bit, who's sharing subject matter expertise. So I would say that's probably one of the bigger best practices would be, it's not just, I've already seen some of people use this and really terribly. They're just like, their CEO shares the company blog with no additional insights or anything. Like, if that's what you're using this for, like, it's going to be wasted. It should be to have someone, bring a message from their personal profile that actually positions them and the company as expertise. That would be the big one. The other ones would be the same things we push for retargeting ads is, if there was a case study, like those are some of my best ones where it's, here's an actual example. The client had this issue and this is how, this is the result we got. And here's the steps we took. So showing actual expertise, step by step, celebrating big partnerships, celebrating big client results. But it's just so much more non-threatening when it comes from a personal profile. Is a huge difference of seeing the exact same case study from the CEO of a company versus a promoted company post. Like, even so, I guess I can't stress that enough. Like, the strategies are very similar. Sure, there's going to be some adaptations now that it's coming from a personal profile. There's a lot of complex strategies you can eventually do, but even just literally the same message from your CEO instead of the company page would have a big impact, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's a great way to kind of repurpose content if you know that something is a hot topic or is already performing really well on something like a company page and you want to repurpose it in a different way or kind of leverage that success. I think it's a great way to repurpose some topics across different channels too.
Yeah. I do think with the other thought I just had with the thought leader ads is that it's interesting to me because there's not that many LinkedIn ads agencies. There's not that many people that are just investing a lot of time into LinkedIn. So there's only a handful of like people or agencies that are going to be looking at these new features and really pushing what's possible, of trying new strategies. One of the things I already just thought about that I think could be huge is I believe anyone who's attached to the company could make a post that gets sponsored. So for example, testimonials, or let's say, instead of just having a testimonial ad from the company page, you could actually have, let's say we have a strategic partnership with an SEO agency and they attach themselves to our company account by saying that they're an advisor or a strategic partner. And then we have them make a personal post endorsing our company, saying that they refer all their clients to us, that we're amazing. And then we then sponsor that. So we could actually have social proof from subject matter experts in other areas referring us. And instead of making little images of them doing it, we literally promote their actual personal profiles promoting that. It's probably going to it could open up partnership deals where, if you have influencers in the B2B space or marketing or whatever, they have influence. For those same reasons of how beneficial I just said it could be for a company, there's going to be a market to get those. Like, can I buy an endorsement for an email marketing expert to endorse us? Like, yeah, you probably can. So I imagine some of those things will open up as well, which will be fun.
Yeah, I can imagine too, because we work with some freelancers to help out with creative in different areas. So if we're working with a copywriter that is really trying to get other business, it can kind of be a win-win situation if they have a really great review about working or partnering with us. And then we obviously really like working with them. It can kind of be like a two-way street, similar to how influencer marketing works.
Yeah. I really like the idea of strategically using employees to maybe surface because I just think like that user journey. So traditionally they leave the website and then they get hounded by company branded ads relentlessly. Like, if it's done right. If it's done poorly, they just drop off the map, nothing happens. But if it's done right, they get, inundated with company ads. But imagine this, like they leave the website and then they log into LinkedIn. Sure, they see some impactable ads, but then they see, Jasmine talking about how, she just helped her impactable client get this ROI. Then there's Hema, who makes a post about how she loves working at Pactable because they let her do this, this, and this. Then there's, Jonathan, who talks about how we just made a partnership deal with this Series B funded, whatever. And the client's learning, or the prospect's learning all this information about our company, what the culture is, who we work with, the results we get. They think that they've just uncovered, this new company and they're just learning by it organically, naturally. But it's a carefully curated journey with different profiles and and triggers. And so that could be, really, really interesting because it's, selling to people without them knowing they're being sold to. And it's also a better journey for them. They're learning about your company without it feeling like a hard sales pitch.
Yeah,
So I
mapping
think
out
that'll
that
be
really specific journey.
yeah. I mean, that's just a crazy strategy. And that was just off I don't know, a week of experimenting, thinking what's possible. So what you could actually do with that, or what most people will do with it, will probably be very different.
Yeah. And just kind of circling back on the use cases here that we've talked about. So obviously executives are going to be a really great option to establish some thought leadership and expertise in your space. People like CEOs, or if you have any C-suite executives that post really often on LinkedIn, always going to have some great content there for these ads. But it can be a great way to kind of implement other views of your company. If you have lower level employees and you're trying to hire and you want to show off that you have a great company culture, or if you're just trying to show off your process of working with people, there's a lot of different options, especially since there's a lot of different variety when it comes to having a company and having different types of employees. So the use cases really seem pretty broad at this point.
Yeah. Some of the more fun things would be what you do with maybe the strategic partnerships, what you do with employees, talking about the company. I also think there could be some fun ones where, say they interacted with your 90-day retargeting layer. So you have a 30-day high intent, but instead of pushing a stronger call to action or a lead gen form, it's a personal post from the CEO acknowledging, hey, I noticed you've been interacting with our brand. If you'd allow me to, give you a chance, if you'd watch this. And I guess the other thing is they don't have destination URLs. So you can't necessarily send them to, this landing page and track all those clicks. But I think you can, stack the text of the post with links, and, you can still use whatever image you want. So I think people have to get creative, but yeah, I agree. What you could do with them is very broad, which means that there'll be a huge difference in the people who just get a little bit of value and those who get really creative and are getting, amazing results using this kind of ad type. I think that the CEOs who are sponsoring their posts where they just reshared the blog article from that's not, they're not going to be very impressed with the results of this.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure that anything is still providing that value that we're looking for, having that demand gen approach. We want to make sure that anything we put out, we're still giving the value that we're promising here. So kind of going back to, you said there aren't any destination URLs on these, which is interesting. I haven't run any yet, so I have not really been fully familiar with what they have and what they haven't. But I'm interested if there's anything that you've kind of learned in the 7 days of having them, or any insights that you have that might be good for people who want to try experimenting with thought leader ads.
The big things that I think are, so knowing that they're not going to look like traditional ads, which is really nice, but also, you're not going to have a CTA, you're not going to have the destination URL. You can go back and either make the post with links, knowing that it's going to be sponsored, or I'm pretty sure you can go back and edit an existing post, add the links, make it more prepped for being run as an ad, and then sponsor it through there. So I would kind of look at it through that lens. Ideally, you want to take a post that has some organic traction as far as likes and comments already. Ideally, in a perfect world, it would be an organic post that has generated inbound leads before. So you kind of know the template and you make that post and then you sponsor it, knowing already that, that has been an effective kind of message. And then the other thing is, make sure you attach this to your different retargeting campaigns. So all of the clicks are retargetable. So it is trackable. If they interact with the ad and then they end up on a conversion screen, that'll get tracked. The bad news is every click is a chargeable click. So even if they click read more, or they engage in any way, they charge you for it. So the cost per click will seem really low, but also keep in mind, not all of those clicks, or probably none of those clicks, are sending that traffic to a destination URL. The whole point is to get the content consumed. I do think you can, stuff it with links either in the content section or the copy section, or even with your own comments. And then it should just be a layer in a bigger strategy. So I don't think influencer ads all by themselves would be an amazing funnel for cold retargeting, but layered in with a fuller approach, I think, would work really smart.
Yeah. So just to summarize some of the learnings here, there's no destination URLs, so no kind of CTA buttons, but you can go back to your post and add some links in if you wanted to include some kind of CTA there. You can add the links back in. Any click on these posts will be chargeable. So it's not just site visits, but it's if they interact with your ad, if they click see more, or if they click on the link in any of your posts, then it counts as a chargeable click. So it may seem like CPC is really low and that it's performing really well, but it's just good to keep in mind that there's going to be a lot of different clicks that are kind of captured in that targeting.
Yeah. The good part about that is just like video views, it should actually help fuel like a retargeting audience faster because it's all of these interactions and it's that'd be a warm audience that came across your organic post that was, picked because it would at least get on the radar in a good way. And then you can retarget that. So I do think that would be an easier point of entry for cold ads for people. Cause even, I guess the big thing will be ideally in a perfect world, this is great for people that are already active on LinkedIn that have like an engaged following who have organic posts that have generated leads, that they can make that an evergreen strategy. But ultimately, even for the executive who's never posted a day in their life, the exact same information that you're running from your company page in ads coming from your personal profile instead would probably do about 5 times better. So yes, I know I'm celebrating how good this is for those of us who are naturally just on organic LinkedIn, but really for anyone, like I would say it's got to be a 3 to 5 times better cost per click or engagement or getting the message consumed by that target demographic. Just saying the same thing from your personal profile versus company.
Yeah. And I will say too, from a copy perspective, it will be good to keep in mind that since it's coming from a personal profile, it probably will perform better with a little bit more of that kind of personal tone. So not necessarily keeping the formal tone that a lot of B2B company pages tend to try and stick to with their company page content. If it's coming from an executive, you really want to make sure that the copy is kind of encapsulating their tone and like really captures the type of person they are, the way that they speak, the values that they have, or the unique thoughts that they have about their area of expertise, because I think that is also what makes this different. If you're just going to use the same copy and the same tone as something you would run on a company page, then I'm not sure that just having the executive name is going to be the differentiating factor there.
Yeah, I think some of these people might benefit from taking like a how to win on LinkedIn organics course, or because the way you structure it, like you have more room than an ad, the hook is going to be very important. And then how to, I think more people could just benefit from, if they're just using the same strategy from their paid ads, it's going to be terrible organic content. And if you're just using paid ads to push terrible organic content, it's going to be really expensive to get your message across. Ideally, what you want is to use the paid ad spend to deliver a relevant message to your target group that is going to hit hard so that they actually engage and help boost that. And your money can be a lot more effective. But if you're just cramming through crappy content with paid ads, it's going to be a very expensive endeavor.
Yeah, definitely. And that's probably going to be a good place for us to pick up next week when we talk about this, is how you can kind of craft the messaging that fits your organic strategy or fits your personal tone, because that's definitely something that I've seen people struggle with in B2B, and I've struggled with my own organic content too.
Yeah, maybe next week we can do best practices. We'll have another week's worth of data. I mean, best practices will change, but we could do some actual stats, or I guess we probably need to do a basic how to set up people or how to access. I bet people are going to be looking for that because we'll cover that, but there's a lot to cover on this one. We could probably take a couple of weeks and get some content around this, I think.
Yeah, definitely.